Do you want to get thousands of people sharing your music? Then this is the video for you. You need to get things rolling on your own. Everything that actually goes viral starts by people sharing it initially, and then once a few people start sharing it, the others start sharing it, and that's how things spread. But this video is going to teach you how you get things rolling initially, how you get hundreds of people actually retweeting and sharing your music, and thousands of people listening. We're primarily going to be using Twitter. This does actually work on Instagram, but Twitter's search function is so much more powerful, and you can actually get a lot more shares and a lot more listens on your music using that platform. So today we'll be concentrating on Twitter. So let's get straight into it with step one, which is find bands similar to yourself. You need to not actually find bands that are huge and established. With this technique, we need bands who are getting a lot of fans, getting a lot of shares, but are still quite niche. Something where people will be proud to discover them and share them on Twitter. So maybe they've got between 100,000 and a few million streams on Spotify. You can actually do this using Last.fm. So find one band you're similar to and go to their similar artists on Last.fm and go on a deep dive and make a list of 20 artists that you think you would share a fan base with. It's really important they are niche and that you are very, very similar to them, and you'll find out why later. Some artists don't even know who they're similar to. Comment below if you've actually done this research before and found out artists that you are most similar to and might share a fan base. Now that you've got your list of similar artists, let's move on to step two, which is to find people who have shared those artists on their Twitter feed. That's why it's so important to have had those niche bands that are similar to you, because so many people will have been actually sharing Drake, Calvin Harris, Ariana Grande, and you won't actually find music fans who are willing to share on their feed a new artist that they haven't heard of before. We want to target people who love finding new artists and sharing niche bands on their Twitter feed. So to do this, we're going to be using a website called Tweetdeck. You might have actually heard of it. It's a free platform which allows you to follow multiple topics at the same time. That's actually what it was designed for. So if you've got multiple interests, you can put that interest in and have about 5 or 6 feeds for each interest and keep track of everything. But that's not what we're going to use it for today. What we're going to use it for is to find people who have credible accounts that are getting engagement and sharing music similar to yours. You want to go onto Tweetdeck and you're only going to use one feed. Now take the first artist on your list of similar artists to yourself and put the artist name and the track title of their latest release. This will bring up everyone tweeting about that track in chronological order. Now I know what you're thinking, you could have just done this on Twitter and it would have essentially done the same thing. But what makes Tweetdeck different is that you can actually filter those results. You can filter by engagement. So for example, you can have a minimum number of likes or retweets. For this exercise, I actually like to put 30 likes, and sometimes I'll put about 5 retweets or 0 retweets. All I want to see is this person, when they share an artist, they get engagement on that post. That means it filters out anybody with no followers and no engagement. So when you're reaching out to those people, you're not going to waste any of your time by getting shares on their feed and they've only got about 5 followers, or they've got 500 followers that aren't engaged and don't click their tweets. So I recommend going for about 30 minimum likes on each post. Now what you'll actually find is you've filtered out all of the tweets that got no engagement, and everything you see now is worth trying to get a tweet from this person. Next, you're going to hold down either Alt or the Option key on your keyboard, depending on whether you're using Mac or Windows. And then you're going to click every single username in that list. So you see that they've shared the track that is similar to yours, and then it's going to open in a new tab their profile. So normally I do about 20 to 30, and then that means that you've got about 30 tabs open of profiles of people who are willing to share music similar to yours. Then next, I'm going to quickly go through all of them and see if any of them have less than 1,000 followers. If they do, I just delete them and get rid of them and replace them with more. And I'll keep going down that feed until it gets a bit too old and the tweets were from a few months ago and it's not really relevant anymore. But eventually, when you've got 30 people who share similar tracks to you and also have more than 1,000 followers that get engagement, now that is gold. Now let's move on to step 3, which is actually to make a spreadsheet. And on this spreadsheet, you're going to have 3 columns. You're going to have the username of the person who has the account. You're going to have a column which says stage, and also the artist that they have actually tweeted about, just so you can keep track of that as well. And the first thing I want you to do is go through all of the people who don't have their messages open on Twitter. And I want you to follow them, because that's the first thing you need to do, because if they have their messages closed, you won't be able to message them cold. So hit follow on all those people and then delete that tab as well. And I want you to put a 0, a number 0 in the stage column of every single person you've done that for, because we're going to come back to that later. And step 4 is you're going to message all of the ones remaining. And what you're going to say is, hey, insert name, make sure it's personal so they know this isn't just spam, and then say, I noticed that you shared artist, track title. I absolutely love that track. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. And that's it. That's all you say, and you leave it for 24 hours. If you actually find something else on the timeline which isn't about the track, but you know a lot about, say you're really into dogs and you love their dog, mention their dog instead. Something more personal will work even better. Or you can keep it about the music, whichever works for you. Now, the next thing you're going to do is obviously wait 24 hours, but also on the spreadsheet, you need to go to the stage column and put a number 1. That will let you know that you've gone out and sent your first message to people, so you can keep track of everything as you go. And if this is your first cycle that you've gone through, you've probably only got about 30 people at stage 1. So go back to Tweetdeck, find more people until you've got about 100 people at stage 1. Step 5, so 24 hours has passed, and I know you're really anxious to send out your music, start getting those views and getting those streams. But unfortunately, you're going to have to be a little more patient, because they're probably going to come back to you with something they're not really sure about you, they don't really know why you've messaged, and they'll probably come back with something quite vague like, yeah, I absolutely love that band. Now, what you can do is go back again with something else, such as, yeah, they really inspired me in my music. How did you discover them? And the reason that you're asking that question is the more replies you get from them, the more they invest in you, and the more likely they are to share your music later on. You see, every time that you prove to them that there's nothing in it for you, you're just having a discussion, that improves your rapport, it improves your credibility. And that means that when you do ask them to share your music, they're more likely to do it. So next, I need you to go back to the spreadsheet and put a number 2 in there. That means that we've gone back again, trying to get them to answer another question or send us another message. And then also, this is a good opportunity to go back to all those stage 0s and see if they've followed back, so we can get them to the stage 1. And now into step 6. This is when you get to go in for the kill. You've now developed a rapport with them, you've got conversation, and they now kind of feel like they know you. So you can actually reply with something now, such as, awesome, I actually love this artist, and if you have any time at all, please do check out my music. If you enjoyed that artist, I'm sure you'll enjoy mine too. And you don't even have to ask for the share, because we already know that if they like you, that they will share music that they like. If you ask for the share, you actually devalue the entire conversation, and all your credibility is lost as an artist. Now go back to the spreadsheet and change everyone who you've sent your music to stage 4. Then this is the opportunity where you can go through all those other usernames which didn't make it back to stage 4. I'd wait 24 hours though, give it a good chance. And anyone who didn't make it to stage 4, then you can go and ask, check out my music, if you like it, give it a share, because at this point you've got nothing to lose. They didn't get back to you, you failed to develop the rapport, so you might as well just take a shot in the dark and try and get a share out of it. I found that about 3 to 5% of people will actually listen to it and share it from the people who didn't make it to stage 4. If you do this hundreds of times per day, you will get a viral effect on your video because you're social proofing your music. Because if you manage to get 30 to 40 retweets on your music video, and other people who actually see that person who's retweeted it will also see, okay, 40 other people have retweeted this, let's give it a listen. And the chances are they'll probably think it's better than it is, because people are sheep, they follow each other, and they'll retweet it too, and voila, you've got that viral effect that you were looking for. If you'd like to see a video of me actually doing this technique in real time, comment below, do it, and I'll make it happen. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more music marketing videos like this, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.